opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to After Hours. And tonight's guest is Chris. Thank you for joining me, Chris. Chris Moore.
Hey, everybody.
So I had picked out a few things that I thought would be a good topic because a lot of people aren't talking about it. And it's not usually something I normally would talk about on the Friday Night Shit Show. So I figured I'd bring them up tonight. We could talk about them if you don't mind. So I know I haven't had time really to share it with you. So let me say hi to everybody. Oh, I said hello to everyone over in my Rumble. So if anybody's over there, nice to see you. Thank you for joining me. And yes, right now I'm doing better. I'm taking medicine because my allergies have been terrible, but I'm starting to feel better. So thank you very much. But hope everybody's having a good evening and looking forward to having a good weekend. How are you been doing, Chris, since the last time I saw you?
Doing real good, just really busy. It's a busy time.
Yeah, it is so far. And man, it's been one of the wettest years I've ever had. I mean, I've never had it be this wet all the way up until June. I mean, it's almost halfway through June already, and it's still raining and stormy and all that. I mean, now if we get rain in August, then I'll really will be impressed because August is usually like really bone dry and everybody's under burn bans. So we will find out, won't we?
Yeah, it's pretty hot down here.
Is it wet there though?
Oh yeah, we've been having a lot of storms, a whole lot of them, but nothing like you guys. I mean, the El Nino was this year, and it just made a big shift down off the coast of Chile. It was a little south, so I would imagine we'll see some weather pattern change. They're saying we're going to have a bad hurricane season.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't remember. I used to be up on that a lot better, but I had an app, that kept me updated on stuff that could be potential hurricanes when I lived in the Gulf. But I'm not down there now, so it's not really the same effect as it was before. But this was one of the things that I thought was interesting when I saw this. It says the Oversight Project Research, because the Oversight Committee that's looking into the AutoPin stuff. I thought this was interesting. Research found that the Biden White House first deployed the AutoPin to affix presidential Biden's signature to a proclamation on day 5. 5 days in, and they used the AutoPin. So I thought this was interesting. So make sure it's turned up. Have you seen this before?
I watched the entire hearing. So.
Oh, you did watch it? Okay,
Oh,
I didn't get to see the whole thing because I wasn't feeling very well, but here we go.
When the president signs, he communicates his assent and endorsement of the action he takes. The AutoPin is a device that signs the president's signature to a document. The Oversight Project, of which I am a board member, has discovered that the Biden White House deployed an AutoPin to affix President Biden's signature to pardons, prison commutations, executive orders, and presidential proclamations. The Oversight Project's research has found that the Biden White House first deployed the AutoPin to affix President Biden's signature to a proclamation on day 5 of his administration, and that there were at least 3 different AutoPin signatures in use throughout President Biden's tenure in the White House. In June 2022, the Biden White House began deploying the AutoPin to sign clemency warrants and executive orders. AutoPin use skyrocketed from there. We found that of the 51 clemency warrants issued during the Biden presidency, over half, 32 in total, were signed with an AutoPin. And these include some of the most controversial acts of clemency of the Biden presidency, including death row commutations and the preemptive pardons of members of the Biden family, Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley, and more that were issued in the final days of the Biden presidency. We reviewed President Biden's schedule in his publicly available media and were unable to find any record of President Biden's personally approving these actions, such as a statement issued by the president himself to reporters.
Yeah, so there you have it. They're looking.
I'm just so, but they're going to get away with it. I mean, there's never justice to anybody in Congress. There's never, meanwhile, the little guy messes up on his taxes. He's got 2 years in jail. We see the J6 doing 4 years in a gulag. I mean, I'm just so tired of the tears of justice. It makes me want to throw up.
Well, I agree with him.
Josh Hawley formally requested all of those records before the hearing ended. It was the last part of the hearing. So this guy brought this up in the beginning of the hearing, and they kept asking questions about it. And then Josh Hawley was the last person to question, and he made all the motions for what they want to do. And the first one that he said, we want those records. So they're gonna go to the archives, because the archivist has it all, and they're gonna make them give them all those records.
Yeah, but the American people that I know, the people that I get to talk to on all the different platforms that I'm on, are sick and tired of all this tons and boatloads and shit tons of evidence that's come out proving that there was fraud, there was scheming, there was lies, the FBI was hiding things, the CIA was involved in this, that, and the other, and nothing happening. Oh, they got tons of documents, but until somebody gets arrested, whether they go to court or not right away, is the fact that someone gets arrested and charged with stuff. With all this
same, it's the same archivist. Hey, you want to really get mad? It's the same archivist that released documents for the Ukraine phone call hearing and gave the documents to the FBI that they went and raided Trump's house over. Same archivist, covering up one thing, releasing other stuff.
Why is this new administration not doing anything about this?
They're going to have to after this. I mean, basically, I think they wanted to catch her in a crime, and this is certainly it. I mean, the whole question was, we all kept saying, this man can't even function. How's he doing? Who's doing all this?
Well, I know, but what I'm trying to say is, who are they wanting to catch in a crime? All these people that work together to get Biden elected, helping with the China people helping, all the misdirection, the FBI hiding stuff about the fake PP dossier. I mean, there's so much evidence. We need to see one person, one big upper person that had their little sticky, grubby fingers and all this shit with cuffs on, and then see him arraigned in court and something happening for the people to get their faith back that something's happening. Because I'm telling you right now, the people that were gung-ho, that had torches ready to, go to town and, you know what I'm talking about? Those people. Yeah. As soon as Dan Bongino and Kash Patel came out and said, well, we know that Epstein killed himself. We saw the video or whatever. We know that he killed himself. And then nobody that was interviewing him said, what video? I thought the cameras were broken. See, I mean, and then everybody's saying, yeah, see, they're in on it. See, so if you got everybody believing that even now, that Trump and everyone is all the same, that there's no difference between this administration and Otto Penn administration, then, I mean, honestly, if nothing happens in this 4 years, I'm not going to volunteer to work the polls. I'm going to stop wasting all my time and spend my last 20 or 30 years that I have left on earth partying and living it up like everyone else seems to be doing, because no one gives a shit. You know what I'm saying? If the people that I went through all this shit for the last 8 years to get in office aren't even going to arrest anyone with mountains of evidence, that if I was pulled over and I had a DUI, or they breathalyzed me or whatever, and I'd probably end up in jail and pay hundreds of dollars. Why am I a piece of shit that's worth going to jail, but none of these people are worth going to jail?
I'm just going to jump out on this limb and say, here's the deal. If we have 2026 to fill Washington, D.C. with the people who will do this. And it's going to depend on whether strong people who are in this 80%. We're the 80%. All the noise is coming from the 20%, and they're dead in the water, and it's like a chihuahua barking at a pit bull, you know. Yeah, whatever, right? They're just making noise. But if we want to really make the noise that we're talking about right now, see prosecutions and all of that stuff, we have to have a Congress that both in the House and in the Senate don't have those like vote breaker close count votes that they have now. We need 65 senators and 270, you know.
But you're not going to see that. We're going to see, I honestly believe right at this time, right this minute, that a bunch of GOP is going to lose simply because not one person's been arrested. And the other fact is it would help boost Trump's people if I started seeing more and more of this stuff that I've been seeing with the 200 something people being arrested for the child trafficking in Texas. And they saved 190 something kids and all that, but nobody talks about it. You don't see anything. You see Cash on these different shows, and you see Pam Bondi and all these people on these different shows, and none of them are talking about pushing the narrative on any of these platforms about all the arrests for child porn. I posted something on my timeline about a hold on, I'm gonna get it real quick. I'm gonna pull it up, about a Republican that was just arrested for child porn. And I posted it on my timeline, and I hardly got anything. Now, you know, people just don't give a shit. It's shocking to me that all these people that say they're conservatives, I post stuff like that and I get 20, maybe 20 views, and then, you know, maybe one share. Nobody wants to talk about the work that they're doing to saving kids. You know, all they want to talk about is, Trump's dragging us to war because he's following the Jews, you know, and shit like that. That's all I ever hear. It's like everybody's brainwashed into only one narrative, and it's either blame Trump or blame Biden, blame Trump or blame Obama, blame Trump or blame Russia. You know, it's like, I'm sick of it. I am so sick of this shit. But hold on, I'm still going down my timeline trying to find this.
The guilt blame complex is one of the most complicated mental illnesses there is, man. People that they're either going to blame you or they're going to act guilty and want self-pity. And man, that's like really common.
Everything that I find says I have to have a subscription. It really sucks. Well, here it is. Here's another one right here. This one I don't have to have. Let me pause it. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to present this other one. Yeah, here we go. All right. Have you seen this already?
That's the guy that got caught with the porn, or no?
Yeah, it says Republican South Carolina Representative, father and husband Robert John May III has been arrested for distributing over 200 child porn files under the username Joe Biden with a bunch of N's 69. Okay, and this is it. I mean, this says 5.8 million views for the leading report. But have you heard any news?
Well, I mean, that was local news. I'm only 60 miles from Columbia, which is the capital of South Carolina. So they're literally in our same news.
Have you heard anything about it?
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it. I'll tell you who'll talk to you about it is Nancy Mace. If you want to get all that information like that, you like Nancy Mace, Ann Vandersteel,
But do you think
Mary
people
Bowden.
don't?
They're
Do you
big
think
on the
people
child
don't want to
stuff.
share this because they think it hurts Trump's administration because this guy's says he's a Republican? Okay, honestly, a true conservative at heart would never hurt kids.
Yeah, well, they already axed that whole thing. He's not a Republican.
Okay,
That's fake news.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's fake news or not. If nobody talks about it and nobody shares it, how does anybody know that it's not real? How does anybody know the background of anything if nobody talks about it and nobody shares it with anyone else? I mean, just like Sean Ryan's show, he had Jim Caviezel on, and the one platform that didn't let him talk because he was talking about Christianity and about child trafficking and a few other things like that. And they took his video down when he did his interview with Jim Caviezel. Okay. But it was only that one platform, which is, I think, owned by Google. I think Google owns them. So, well, yeah. And, you know, that same group that got rid of, what was it? The Patriot? What was it? Damn it. The channel before Truth Social came up. It was real popular. It started with the P, Patriot, or Dan Bongino was a big stockholder in it. Do you remember the platform we're talking about? Everybody was signing up for it.
I remember that vaguely, but I don't remember.
They got rid of it because it was getting so popular. Google and all them pulled their servers and said and they wouldn't let them have them back unless they agreed to do this, that, and the other, which was kiss our ass or you're out. You see, and it sucked. It sucked because after I tried to go back to it, but it wasn't the same anymore. So I said, screw it. So I deleted my account and left it. I think it was called Patriot Channel. So I don't remember. I can't remember. I don't have it on my phone anymore, but it was terrible. And that's what I see. I see it everywhere. People only share what they want to share, and they only talk about what they want to talk about if they're going to get clicks. If I'm going to get clicks and if I'm going to make money, then I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to share it. That's why when I've had a couple people say, "Hey, you want to join our little group of people, and we'll help you get subscribers. We'll do this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "Well, what do you guys expect from me? You know, what are you wanting from me?" And then I wouldn't be allowed to talk about certain things or do certain things. And I said, "No, I'd rather never make money. I'll keep paying monthly to use this platform on my with my streaming service and never make money because I am not going to be told that I can't talk about." Children's safety or some of the other issues that I talk about on the shit show. I've had my stuff taken down multiple times. I still have a warning right now against my channel, which means I almost automatically get a strike if they don't like something I do. It's from January of last year. And there's nobody contact. There's no way for me to say, hey, why do I still have a warning against my channel from something I did that took the class? I did all the things you told me, but I still have a warning. So no matter what, I'm already right next to a strike waiting to happen to my channel simply because they don't like my content. And they don't want people to see it. So no one sees it, and to me, it's pathetic and sad when I look around and I just see people sharing the same narrative over and over and over again. All they do is ask questions like, what did you eat for breakfast? Just stupid stuff just to get clicks. It's like, I don't mind sharing like this one. This was from the Leading Report. They're getting credit for it, but I shared it on my timeline because I thought it was an important story. Isn't that what I thought? People were to share, but I guess it's going to end up like Facebook, where people were sharing what I had for breakfast. This is what I'm having for lunch. And this is what I'm wearing when I go to the opera, whatever the shit, I don't know. I just don't understand. To me, it's pathetic and sad that this is where we are now. It's just nobody's interested in anything unless I'm going to get something out of it.
Well, let me just say this. If you want to know everything about that case, go browse over to Representative Nancy Mace's page. And she has a personal page too. And she she is, I mean, she fights for women and children. You
Yeah,
wouldn't believe
I've
they try to
watched her 4 or 5
crucify her.
times when she was talking about the hamsters and the mice that they were trying to get sex changes, and all the hormone treatments they were doing to mice and spending millions of dollars on it. I watched a lot of that stuff, and I aired it. I aired it on X only and Rumble because I couldn't air it on YouTube because I knew that they would take my channel down for it, and I already have a warning. Simply because they won't take it down because they don't want me to have it taken down. See, it's just sad.
Well, you know why that stuff is offensive? And this is their business decision at these places.
Thank you.
We have people.
Parler.
We have people on the board at this place that came from cultures where arranged marriages and marrying 9-year-old girls is considered normal. And so they get offended when we talk about how evil, sex with children is. And that's pathetic, but we got infiltrated with it. It's just reality.
Well, I don't know.
Look at all the crap we have about trans shit and all that. They don't have all that in the countries where they marry off 9-year-old girls. It's just difference in, in that same country that you're talking about, getting a 9-year-old girl and they cut off her private area so she can't enjoy sex. Okay. Yeah, I know.
At 9, those same people, they want the girls for procreation for having babies, but they use the boys just for fun. So they're poking both sexes and they don't care because, if those kids are taken from people that aren't worthy or whatever, it doesn't matter because they don't see them as human. See, but no one wants to talk about that either. And we're not supposed to talk about it because we'll get in trouble. So nobody talks about it because they want to make their few dollars a week or whatever for each click or whatever it is. I mean, you got to get like 4 million views on something before you can even attempt to be monetized. And what's shocking to me is a lot of these accounts that are supposedly getting monetized, they have like 4,000 followers. I'm like, how'd they get 4 million views? I don't know. I don't know how, unless you pay. I mean, everything I do now, I already pay a month just to have the blue check mark, which I should just get rid of because it's a waste of my time. It hasn't helped me at all. Because I'm not willing to kiss ass, apparently. That's probably part of it. But now when I post, every single time I post it, that you want to pay to get this boosted, it's like, I'm already paying you. Why do I have to? Why are you telling me boost your account? Boost. I'm not asking for that. I'm not going to pay them for followers. I'm not going to. And I block so many bots on a weekly basis and stuff like that just on X. And I'm like, I'm paying to block the bots that they should be getting rid of. To me, I'm just getting fed up with it because to me, it's getting as bad or worse than Facebook was when I left. So. I don't know. I just think I'm just not happy with it. I'm not happy with what I thought it would end up being, like Parler, like that gentleman, Totem, or I think that's how you say his name, had posted. It said it was Parler. And I loved Parler because I signed up for it months and months in advance and I got my name and I was all excited and I was slowly growing. But to see the importance of behind the post and how people were making memes and doing all kinds of fun stuff, but they also had important stuff like this right here, this arrest with this guy. And then, other stuff like that. But it's like people want to bitch and moan that when is he going to do something? When are they going to give the Epstein list? When are they going to do this? When are they going to do that? And today I heard in a space that they thought they heard Trump say something about the reason that they don't want to drop a bomb in Iran is because it supposedly someone from Iran has stole 10 terabytes of information from our government. And somebody said, well, it's because it has the Epstein stuff on it. Trump wants that. So, I mean, you're going to have conspiracy theories everywhere. So you're going to always have someone griping, complaining, making up lies to get a few clicks, and stuff like that. So, it's really hard to get any facts. I mean, you can dig and dig and dig and just they're really good at, tearing down statues, mowing over stuff, burning books, erasing, like bleach bitting all their phones. They have a illegal server in their bathroom and nothing happens to them. It's shocking to me how they just, it's just like, oh, well, it's just a flea. You're just a flea. Just get lost. I don't need to worry about you. And that's how we get treated. The people that want to do something, the people that are paying all this money. But if I honestly believed that if we could wait long enough after the USAID stuff was cut off, and that Congress would decide this was real important and vote to fund USAID, because that's their job, is to spend money that we bring in taxes, right? But they haven't done shit. They haven't done a damn thing. I mean, these people are doing nothing. It's another lame 2 years, just like what happened with Trump in his first 2 years. And then COVID happened, and then they just blamed it all on Trump. Everything's Trump, Trump, Trump. It's all his fault. We can't do shit. And then they all get reelected again. It's like, it's disgusting. I'm just losing faith. I'm really losing faith in the people that I voted for to get in office. And I'm seeing some of them doing things, but I just don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough for most people that have to have Uber Eats and do all their stuff on their phones and swip, swap, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And if it's not right now, can I have my cigarette, can I have my snack and my coffee and whatever else while I'm driving down the road, then it's not good enough, because they don't have 5 minutes. They don't want to wait 5 minutes to share something that's important for other people that may have never seen it. I don't know. Sorry, I went on a rant. I'm so frustrated with all this crap. And I just want to see something done. I want to see these people held accountable to do their damn jobs. And then when Kash Patel, did you know that Kash Patel, I saw somewhere that they've already arrested the top 10 most wanted on the FBI list since Kash has been in? Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw the new top 10 list. I saw they posted a new top 10 list. It can only mean one thing.
What?
That they got the last 10.
Well, yeah, but how many people do you see talking about it? How many do you think that Biden got his 4 years? I don't think he got 10.
They got a bunch of Catholic parents that wanted to talk to the school board.
Yeah, and they also got all the January 6ers, and they got them in jail. None of them, half of them didn't even get taken to court, and they sat in jail for years. It's like, I don't know. I'm just frustrated because I just don't see anybody upset about all this shit, except they're whining, complaining that we didn't get this Epstein list and we didn't get this. And then you have videos coming out now that are being leaked, supposedly, of one of the girls that supposedly committed suicide, a mother of 2 that lived in Australia with her husband. And she'd been trying to share stuff for years. And now she supposedly had a kill switch that automatically sent all her one video at a time or whatever out to certain people on a timed thing where it sends it out to share the information. And they're all saying, oh, that's fake. That's CGI. It's not real, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to believe it. Okay. So, you can't win for losing. And then you have the Diddy stuff going on, and half the people are saying, oh, he's going to walk. No, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter how many people get up there and how much evidence. He's going to walk. He owns too many people. And then the other side is like, well, hope they get him for something, but it's not going to be for trafficking. And I'm like, why not? I've listened to a couple of days of court, and it sounded to me like they had enough evidence from the FBI agents and some of the other people that they had evidence that he took 2 women across state lines and made them have sex with men, other people. So that's trafficking, whether you want to believe it or not.
Yeah, that's called the Mann Act.
So it's I hope they do charge him with something. I really do. And not some little bad thing, you bad boy. It's going to be pathetic. I'm really losing hope. And what's really sad is I wanted Trump to do a good job after all the shit that he's been through and his family's been dragged through. And these people are just not going to give him anything. They're not. Even with the new people he's got, there is so much corruption that, they're probably, the bad people are walking up and down the aisles in Congress, just peeing on each other's shoes and stuff, saying, F you, fuck you. To everybody, we don't care. You can't do anything. There's nothing you can do about it. And walking off. That's basically what I think happens every day in Congress. That's how I feel. Isn't that sad and pathetic? I mean, how do I change my attitude? What do I need to do personally and I pray every day, please God, let me see something good. And then guess what? This happens. I saw this post, and then I saw another post where they saved 190 something kids and arrested 200 something people for trafficking children. Okay.
Hey, let me tell you, Janet, let me tell you something I saw right before we came on. Okay.
What?
Just this will lighten the mood, but this was real. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
those no kings protests.
Yeah.
So RFK was giving an interview to a big media person, social media guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, oh yeah, well, that was about a bet between me and Donald Trump. And I leaned up like, oh my God, this has got to be good. And RFK told Trump, he bet him he could make a bunch of fat people go outside. And so they did that psyop and he won the bet. Swear to God, I saw that right before we came on.
Yeah,
and it wasn't CGI. It was real. I
saw another clip, and it said that Trump was joking around, and he said that if Iran didn't straighten out there, he was going to drop Chris Christie on them. Stuff like that. And but to me, Trump's just a human, and he's trying to make light of a few things because he's overwhelmed with so much shit. I mean, he went to California after the fires to try to help the people. The mayor sat there and blow smoke up everyone's ass, and still people haven't even broke ground on their homes yet, haven't got stuff fixed. Then in North Carolina, did the same thing, and they did. As soon as he leaves, they go like this when he's walking away. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about their people.
I have friends in LA. I have friends in LA just like you. I'm sure you do. Have you talked to them? Because the holdup on all of that is permitting and insurance payments, and the hush hush is they want to rebuild all that for the Olympics, and the people that are in charge of all that, hoorah, are the ones pushing all the buttons out there in that.
Wow.
I mean, some of those people that lived out there in the Palisades bought their houses in the 50s and 60s when they were like 50 grand. They're worth 2.5, 3.5, 7.5 million dollars now. I mean, that causes a problem for big industry.
Just sell their stuff and move somewhere else.
Yeah,
It's sad that you have a piece of property, let's say 200 acres, that you see your great grandfather had, okay, and they broke their backs and worked hard, and then raised a family, and then brought people in to work the farm or whatever it was, and it became a logging business or whatever it was, okay, but it's been passed down from generation to generation. Now you're 5 generations down, and then you have people coming in saying, well, we want your land because we want to put some little apartments here because we think it'll make more tax revenue, and so we're going to buy your property from you. And we're like, well, we don't want to sell. Well, too bad. And the government just takes it from them and gives them a few measly amounts of money, and it doesn't matter the heritage or anything that goes on with the property. So it's sickening to me because you have government, okay, that comes in, they own half of the state already because it's a national park or whatever, the government, whether it's a state or federal government, and you can't do shit on it. You can't, and then they tell you on your own land, well, you got a special frog living in that pond over there. So now that you got that frog, you can't use that water from your pond to water your plants or your garden or your cattle and stuff. And you're like, well, how am I supposed to get water to my cattle? Oh, well, it's not our problem. But if we find out you're using water out of that pond, we're going to fine you. You see, it's all screwed up big time, and we're losing our rights one day after the other. And people like me had hope that when we got Trump in there, that they were going to start arresting people and cleaning it up to where we could start making changes, And see, I'm lucky. I have a state right now. She was the first one that I know of that told China, no, the property that you just bought here, we're taking the rights away, and we're sending you out of our state. You're not
I saw that, man. I was like, hell yeah, that was
so. And other states are doing it now, but it's so slow. It's a trickle. It's like drip, drip, and the gully is open over there. The gates are open, so the water just flowing out, and a drip at a time is dropping back in to refill it. It's just never going to refill because there's so many crooked lawyers, so many crooked judges, so many crooked state representatives, senators, congressmen. I mean, I can go on and on and on. They're all crooked. They're all this guy right here. They're all guys that are being blackmailed because they have porn, child porn, or snuff films. I don't know, just all kinds of disgusting crap. And they don't want anybody to know about it. So what we need to do is either talk them into, outing themselves, saying, yeah, I did this shit, and I'm going to step down. But now they can't blackmail them anymore. See what I mean? They have taken their lives back by admitting that they had a problem. They did this, that, or the other, and they're going to, pay for it, and stop the blackmailers in their tracks by coming clean and taking their power from them. Because once they do that, they don't have power anymore. But apparently these people don't believe in God, or they don't believe in themselves, or love their families enough, or something. They love themselves more than everything else. And so they just drag everyone else behind them in the dirt, through the gravel and the broken glass and whatever else, because they don't give a shit. We have too many self-centered, narcissistic assholes that only care about themselves, and that's why we were in the position that we are, basically, that I see. And I am grasping at straws, doing everything I can think of to try to get people to say, hey, this is what we got to do, or what can we do different, to clean up this mess. I mean, I don't know how. I just don't know how we're going to do it. When people would rather pay money to an OnlyFans woman and watch her sleep with 700, 800 guys, one after the other, instead of taking that few dollars and paying to help people stop human trafficking. You see what I mean? How can that even be weighed? They can't, because that's how corrupt people are becoming. They have nothing. They have, I don't know. I just don't know. It's just heartbreaking to me. And I want to do something about it, but I just don't know what to do. I have nothing, I only have my voice. That's all I have. I don't have a lot of money. I don't live in a mansion. I have a truck that I'm trying to get fixed right now. I haven't had it that long, and it just seems like, and then I've been sick. I've had problems, and, things are getting better because I'm starting to feel better. I finally went to the doctor and got a Z-Pack or whatever, but I don't like to do that. I don't like to have to take medicine for something, because I don't trust the pharmacists anymore. I don't trust the pharmaceutical companies. I don't trust anybody. I've gotten to so afraid that they definitely don't care about me, that if I don't take care of myself, there's nobody going to take care of me. And I hope more people are thinking that way. I mean, not trying to be blackpilled so bad, but we've got to start fighting, take back what's ours, So, but all right.
Blood got shed for our liberty.
Do what?
A lot of blood was shed for our liberty.
Mm-hmm. Yep. A lot of people died to give me the voice to do what I'm doing right now. And if nobody wants to listen, I can't force people to listen to me. All I can do is voice it, and hopefully someone will listen and say, and they'll be the one person that comes up with a really good idea on how to make some changes and how to fix something. But just like you said, when you have a parent that has their kid bring home a book and it's got some nasty porn in it, and you're like, my kid's 6 years old and he came home with this book from your library, you take it to the school and you talk to other parents and they get upset and they all go to the school and they all get arrested.
Yeah.
trying to help their kids. It's like that's not the America. I mean, I don't know what country that is, but it's not America, and it's happening. It happens in states, and I don't know. I'm really worried that we're about to lose Texas, and once they get Texas, they don't have to cheat anymore because they have all the votes they need. And the Electoral College is always going to go to the Democrats. So, I mean, look how many droves of people have left California and it's still blue. So it's like, even if they say it's red, okay, it's red. Texas is red, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at every city, they're neon blue. They're glowing blue. More people live in the cities than do in the rural. And as soon as the one number goes click over that those votes are gone. It just doesn't matter if there's a 500,000 red people living on the outsides of the city when there's 2 million people in the city. See, and people just they just don't want to admit it. And it's too late when you finally admit, hey man, we're bad off. We need to do something before the car hits the wall. You know what I mean? Make sure the brakes are working.
Too late.
You got to make sure that the brakes are working before you, take that trip. But here's another thing I saw. Hopefully they won't all be so depressing. So sorry, but it's just terrible. Here's one of the things that I was talking about with this whole thing, and I was wondering why people aren't talking about it more. 244 child sex offenders were arrested. 109 children were rescued. And how many people know about this? And this happened in Texas, a red state. Everyone says that lives in Texas that I talked to, that Texas is red. But all this is going on in your state. All this shit. 244 child sex offenders were arrested. And
I don't know how we can get that more prevalent on X. All of the videos associated with that on YouTube have been seen 1.4 million times. And I mean, people are looking at it. They are looking at it.
Well,
I mean, I've laid my algorithm out. You talked about this earlier. I've laid my algorithms out by going to the people who talk about what I want to talk about. I follow them, I subscribe, I turn on notifications, I comment on their posts, and eventually all of that nonsense disappears. And that's the same way my YouTube channel is. I mean, I get notifications for TV channels in countries all over the world, Australia.
Are you on YouTube Premium?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hardly get any notifications. I'm lucky if I just happen to be on YouTube and say, oh, that person, I know this person. I need to watch it because I got them turned on, but I hardly ever get any notifications because YouTube doesn't like me. I mean, they don't like me and they don't want me on there. Or if they am on there, they want me on there as little as possible and they don't want people to see me. So it's like.
I mean, like if you watch the news on Ukraine and Russia, right? Mm-hmm. You can literally go to YouTube and see footage taken every day from the battlefield by independent journalists who post that stuff on YouTube. I see it every day. And then one of the most popular accounts on X made the complaint. He said, why don't we ever get any information out of here? I'm like, you're not looking for it. It's available, it's totally available. But that's what I'm saying. And you got to use the search button. When you see something you want to verify, say, okay, well, let me go see. What you'll see on YouTube is one side that says one thing and another side that says another thing, just exactly like what we have in our media with Fox and Legacy. But if you get the facts, you'll know which one of them is telling the truth and which one of them isn't. Right, and that's where the discernment.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Out of everyday American people, just a normal person that gets up every morning, let's say a mom, and she has 3 children that are ages 14 down to 8 or 6, right? She does grocery shopping. She takes care of the household stuff. She makes sure the kids get back and forth to practice and whatever else. And the husband gets up every morning. She feeds him. He goes to work. And then he comes home at 5 5:30 or whatever, and she has dinner ready and stuff. That's her daily routine. So during her day or his day, while he's at work, when are they going to go to YouTube and research stuff, look things up?
Yeah, well, that's kind of, I mean, that's the whole thing about manipulating your algorithm. We all have an algorithm that works on
But
our
that's
taste.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
If
you
you
can make
have
the stuff
time-
you want to see show right
If
up.
I have time, I will take that video and I will try to share it for people that are, that's why I do my show later in the night too. It's for people that maybe they lay down, they're trying to relax before they go to sleep because their kids are asleep or whatever, or they're trying to get their loved one that's laying next to them and they're patting their head or whatever it is, right? And then they get a chance and they say, oh, this seems interesting. Maybe I'm going to watch this. They see it. And then I try to share links. Like in the Friday Night Shit Show, I try to share links for all the different videos, whether they're funny or whatever else, so other people can share it with someone else. And a lot of the videos I share at the end, they say, please share this video so people can find out about this because, you know, people don't know about it. Oh, thank you very much. I do try to do it. I do the best I can. But it's hard, you know. It's really hard because people just don't have the time. And the sad truth is the family, like I just talked about, the husband that's trying to work at 2 jobs, 1 job, whatever it is, and the wife is trying to take care of the kids, because that's what our jobs are. Our job is to one day get married, have a family, go see our parents and let them enjoy our children. And then one day we're going to enjoy our children's children. And that's progression of life. That's what the whole American dream was, to have a home, have a car, a dog, or kitty cat or whatever, and your children, and watching them grow up, sitting on the front porch swing together, holding hands, watching your kids play in the yard, and then one day watching your grandkids play in your yard. Isn't that what the family dream was supposed to be? At least that's what I thought it was when I was a young girl with 4 sisters growing up, thinking that one day we're all going to get married. Well, I knew I wasn't a princess and wasn't going to be riding a unicorn to a castle with wings, you know, and stuff like that. You realize that, you know, one day I just want to meet a nice man that wants to be with me for the rest of his life, you know, and I want to be his wife and I want to be there for him and help him, you know, be successful at his job. And hopefully maybe I can get a job. I don't know. You know, when you're young and you love, you're not thinking about that. All you're thinking about is the dream that we all have as kids about what we think we're going to get in our lives. And then you find out the whole time you've been lied to that you never can afford that dream. You're never going to have a house. You're never going to do this. You never. And it's like, it's depressing. And then we wonder why we have so many young people committing suicide or get addicted to porn or alcohol and drugs and stuff. And then we just stand around going, what are we supposed to do about it?
Well, you know, Jordan Peterson does a whole lot of in-depth discussion about how not only is legacy media failing us by not giving us the news that we need, that most people really are interested in, but it's the commercials they have and that mind fuck game where they can literally manipulate the way the masses think. And those media sources have all been bought by rich propagandists who have an agenda. Mm-hmm. You know, so when it comes down to those things like you're talking about, those are all individual decisions. And, you know, in the end, that's the only way we're going to fix America, is all making the next right move every time we're confronted with something, and not take the easy way out, not do the fun way, but think about how it affects everybody around us, and then do the next right thing the same way we want other people to do for us. But you spoke about this earlier. It's the McDonaldization of society. I want it right now. I don't want to wait 2 minutes for, you know, but Jordan Peterson, I watch his stuff every single day, and he really gets it. Jordan Peterson gets it. You know, there's a lot of Carl Jung videos that you can watch about personalities, an introvert, an extrovert, INFJ, Sigma males, alpha males, you know, the androgyny and all these other things that society wants to talk about. They just won't let us be normal, which is basically what I hear you saying. Why can't we just be normal? It's not normal anymore.
I know, but I'm not saying we all have to think the same way, you know.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think you're saying
cut our
that.
hair the same way, or wear the same makeup and the same jeans and the same, and be just, you know. But that's what they want. That's what I feel like they're trying to do. They're trying to conform us all that there is no males, there is no females. We're all trans people. You know, we
I don't
all
want my
walk
grandson
around,
to come.
and we just have mounds. We don't have actual features or anything, and all our babies are born in laboratories, and we just walk around and consume. You know, I don't know what it just seems like. That's what they want. They were not going to be happy until we all live in our little modular homes. We all have jobs that we do online. We just sit there and punch buttons and eat with whatever, you know, processed food that they hand us, and drink whatever contaminated water they want us to drink. I mean, I feel like that's what they're trying to do. I've gone to many cities, and I look around, and is nothing but concrete and steel, pieces of grass maybe growing through a couple of, you know, sidewalk cracks, trash everywhere, needles, poop. It's disgusting. And you're clutching your purse like this, running down the road to get to the next place. And this is supposed to be your vacation. You know what I mean? It's like, it's scary. It's really scary out there. And I feel for the people that have to live there, the people that have to take their kid out of that building and walk down the road to get to the bus or get to the store or whatever they need. I don't know how you live that way. That's why I'm saying the psychological damage that goes along with the way the disgusting cities are now. It's just terrible, because I'm an adult, and when I'm walking to the car after I got my groceries and I'm looking around, I got my key stuck between my finger on my hand, ready to jab somebody in the throat if they try to grab me, you know, stuff like that. You're petrified to watch your car after you've gone shopping, because you hear about this other lady or this old man that was beat down with a walker and robbed right in front of the grocery store. Stuff like that. Just day after day after day, you become afraid. And then so you pack up. You're lucky enough to be able to have a few bucks to be able to move to a house that you can live in the country and try to have some sense of security. But now you go through like withdrawals, because now you have to drive 50 miles just to buy wine. You can't order a pizza and have it delivered to your house. You have to go get whatever it is you want, because you give up conveniences for safety. Okay. And that's what's happening. That's why the cities are so bad, because all the good people that can afford it are packing up and going out of the cities into the rural areas and into the country. That's what's happening. And then all the people that don't have the money or don't have the means to be able to get out of the city are stuck there. And then they don't vote. They don't do anything. They don't say anything, because they're petrified that if they speak out against what's going on around them, they won't be around. You see? So it's just a mess, I think. But let me play this video. I want everybody to hear it, because it's something good. This is a good thing to see something good happening in this midst of chaos that we have.
This is insane. Something happened in Texas this week that should have made national headlines, but it didn't, because we were all so focused on the military parade and Iran and Israel. But not only were 244 child sex offenders arrested, but 109 children were rescued during an investigation known as Operation Soteria Shield. And this thing was a massive months-long collaborative effort between 70 local law enforcement agencies and the FBI. It details like how these predators were luring in children, because it wasn't just through social media, but even through online gaming as well. And they suggest that these 244 could just be the tip of the iceberg, because during the operation, investigators seized extensive volumes of digital evidence, which they say may lead to the arrests of even more perpetrators. And I can't believe I missed this. So everyone should know 109 children were rescued this week, and 244 predators have been caught. That is news right there.
It is news. And it's nice to see the people that Trump put in office. Because remember, I do remember it. The first 2 years, Trump was president the first time, I saw record numbers of child predators and rapists and stuff being arrested. You know, they were having raids all over the place. And after that, I thought, okay, now we just got to get help for the people that were assaulted, the people that were held captive or whatever. They need treatment. And then the next thing you know, we got a bunch of kids at schools that want to poop and pee in litter boxes. And the teachers are talking to them, oh, well, you want to wear pink and you're a boy. Well, you must want to be a girl. Let's go cut off your wing winger and here's some pills. Don't tell your parents. You know, it's sad and disgusting what I've seen unfold in the last 8 years of our country. And Trump, from everything Trump's been doing, he's done a really good job, I feel, for what he's had. And I love the fact that he's so open and willing to talk to the press, show them what he's signing when he's doing it so that they don't do the same shit that they're doing right now with having to find out that Biden, you know, weekend at Biden didn't even know who he was half the time, let alone after 5 days of being in office, they're already using AutoPen to get shit done that they wanted. The people that, you know, I think it's Hillary's people. I really do. I really believe it's a lot of Hillary's people because she was pissed that she didn't win. The look on her face when she was told by Podesta that she lost, she was like, heads are going to roll. You guys are going to go down because if I can't be president, you guys are not going to have a good life, basically. So I posted that meme on my page. It's got a picture of Hillary pissed off, and it says, the face you make when you realize that Jill Biden got to be president and you never will be, basically. I thought it was funny, you know, because so I can laugh at some of this. It's just sad because I really wanted to see more being done. I wanted to see more people happy with some of the successes that we've already had and see actual people that we voted in office, senators and congressmen and the state representatives and your mayors and your sheriffs and all these people fighting to help Trump be successful so that more people during 2026 will be elected to help them with the battle that's still coming on, you know, until 2028. But it just seems like everybody's just sitting on their hands and twiddling their thumbs, like my mom would say, waiting and saying, okay, well, let's kick the can down the road a few more years and see how much more I can suck from the government because I don't have to do anything. I just have to act like I'm doing something. And I see all these things like that one we just watched about them finding out about the AutoPen, you know, how many times it was used and, you know, what it was used for and all that coming out. But once they come out with their answers, they got to do something. They do nothing. That just says more of the same old shit. Just like I'm hearing right now what they're saying about Trump's administration when they come out with all this stuff and then nothing happens. You know, they're doing nothing. And Congress is doing nothing. Doesn't that make you mad that they're not doing something?
What makes me mad is we elect people that stand up for that bullshit, that will literally go and try to take a murderer and hide him from ICE, or that they want your grandson to come home as a granddaughter. They elected these people.
I know. It's scary.
I mean, that's the problem. Maybe we need to get the guillotine back and take some of these people that screw children and just take care of it. Go, you got caught. You don't get a trial. People don't get tried for this kind of stuff. Throughout humanity, if you harm children, you're in trouble. Don't send a pedophile to jail. Even in there where murderers and thieves and drug dealers and all that, man, when they get a pedophile in there, they got a victim to torment. Nobody agrees with that. But somehow we've elected people who will argue for it. That's the problem.
I know. But what can we do? I mean, what can a normal everyday person that has to get up and go to work every day, mow their yard, you know, take care of their animals and their pets and, you know, their families do? What difference can we do? What is it that we can do?
Well, I mean, it's like this. You could run as a Democrat, right? Don't tell everybody who you are, but run as a Democrat because you're good looking. And let me tell you what, if you ask 90% of the people that voted for AOC or Gretchen Whitmer or that Kathy Hochul, they'll say she's good looking. It's like, that's all you got to do to get elected to be a Democrat.
I remember when Clinton was running, and I was asking people, why do you want to vote for Bill Clinton? Well, he's the man with the plan. And I go, well, what's his plan? And then they'd go,
to start having his hookers delivered to the White House instead of the Arkansas, instead of the
and I was talking about it because remember my mother and her family and stuff are from Arkansas and Oklahoma and Texas. So my mother constantly said, hey, Jim Guy Tucker and Clinton and all them are all involved in drug running at Amina and blah, blah, all this stuff. They'd said all this stuff. This is way before he even thought about running for president. And they still won. And Hillary had just went through all that Whitewater shit, right? Swearing under oath that she never saw the Whitewater paperwork and all this bullshit. And as soon as she's in the White House, guess what? Mysteriously, the documents appear that have her fingerprints on them for the Whitewater case, and nothing happens. It's disgusting. People like me are just disgusted by it. And that's why Hillary got away with so much. And she said, Bill, you go over there and you play with those ladies while I dabble in my stuff and make money, And as long as he kept them all looking that direction so she could cheat and steal and whatever else, she's going to bash phones or make child schools in Haiti so she can take a few more kids and traffic them over to some other place. I don't know. I have no idea, but it's disgusting. I mean, it's really sad how they just can do whatever they want and you can't, say what I do, don't do as I do. You know what I mean? That attitude. And to me, it's sad and pathetic that they just keep getting away with it. And that's why I'm really, honestly, in my gut, believe that if we don't arrest somebody, I don't know who, Comey, somebody that was involved in the PP dossier, somebody that was behind the 2020 stuff, now that stuff's been, what do you call it? Oh, hi, Kathy. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it.
General Flynn was calling for the arrest of James Comey today.
Okay, really? So do you think anything's going to happen? I mean, he writes in shells on the beach, 8647, and nothing happens. If you just were a guy and you were saying how much you hated Trump, and then you post something on your social media and say that you want him 86 the president or whatever, you'd be in jail right now. Especially if it'd been Biden. If it'd been Biden. This
weekend, I'm going to be with General Flynn down in Florida.
Well, send me a picture.
We got dirt. We got dirt. I will. We got dirt on James Comey. That, I mean, man, there's shit on James Comey. Trust me.
Good. I all I'm saying is, if Trump and his team want to see a big change and being in success, okay, for what's going to happen after 2026, for 2026, and you want to see more people get in there and vote and put more seats in there for him so that there's more votes for him to help him pass stuff, they've got to arrest somebody. They've got to arrest somebody.
To me, Janet, the issue isn't getting people for the votes. The issue for me is get these deranged, delusional lunatics out of our government.
But earlier,
the votes
we only have one vote right now. We only have one vote more, and if that person, says I don't agree, I don't want this to happen, then you got JD Vance to break the tie, right? But what if we had 7 more people? If we had 7 more people to deal with, to be able to get more stuff done.
The two numbers for you can't appeal and there's no vetoes or any of that. You need 270 House members and 60 senators. And things get put. People got good people. Good people have to run for office, and we got to get the vote out. That's the only way that we're going to fix this. I mean,
yeah, but you can't. Okay, I have a friend. I'm not going to say her name or anything. She's run for Congress in her state. But as soon as she got in there and she talked about what she planned on doing about cleaning the place up, like Trump did, guess what? The GOP in charge there said, we don't want her. We got to get rid of this lady. So they didn't help her. They didn't help her get the paperwork filled out properly. They didn't help her with anything because they didn't want her. She wasn't going to be an establishment GOP member. So they wanted to get rid of her. Just kick her ass out. We don't need her. We don't want her. We want someone else. And that's why, like in Texas, you're seeing more and more Democrats just given seats because they might as well, instead of saying R by the name, it just say D, because that's how they vote. That's what they do. They make decisions like a Democrat. That's why they're called rhinos. And we have too many of them. And once we lose Florida or Texas, the Electoral College isn't going to matter anymore, is it? That's a lot of votes both those states have, and they only need one. What happens when Texas goes blue? The other swing states, you think it's going to make that much difference? With that many votes?
I don't think anything. 20% of the people in America are all in on socialism, communism, free checks from the government, free shit, sex changes and all that. And even out of that 20%, a couple that I named are even only 3 or 4%, right? 80% of the people are all on the same page. I'm tend more to believing that, okay, if we can't find somebody to replace Trump that talks like Trump, then that person who does talk like him and think like him could literally run in the wide open Democrat Party and take all those swing libertarian votes, because those 20% are going to vote Democrat because that's all they know how to do. If they voted for people because they were good, because they could help their communities grow, bring businesses and do all those things that a politician is supposed to be doing, right? Then they could be replaced if better people came.
Well, just like you said earlier, okay, I've talked to I don't know how many guys, okay, that said that they'd vote for this woman, or they like that. What was it? Is it OAC? Is that how you say her name? The horse face girl, whatever her name is.
AOC.
Yeah, AOC. Okay, they said they'd do her. That's what they say. I do her, and I'm like, that's the problem. When a guy will sleep with a woman just because she's got a nice ass or whatever, no matter how stupid she sounds or how repulsive she is and disgusting she might be, like that woman that, like I said, that wanted to sleep with 600 and something men in 24 hours. Okay. Any man that would want to have sex with that woman, I don't want to have anything to do with that person. That's a disgusting person that I do not want to speak to. I don't want to know. I don't even want to associate with.
That's the moral decline that has the country where it is, though.
But those are your voters. That's what I'm trying to say. Those are the people that when someone hands them $5 and a pack of cigarettes, they'll go in there and make a mark on whatever they're told because they want free shit. And once you teach everyone that free shit gets you what you want, then why would they give a shit? They'll say, I just got to sit on my ass and I can get whatever I need. When you've been getting a check for COVID or whatever else, because they didn't want you to go to work, and you're getting all your bills, $3,000 a month. Okay. Just like these people walking over the border, they're getting health care, they're getting glasses, they're going to the dentist, they're getting a place to live and food in their stomach. It's more shit than they're getting when they were from the country they were at. Okay. They're getting all that stuff. And now they're told, well, now you got to send your kids to school and you got to get a job and we're going to get you this, that, and the other for Social Security numbers or whatever. And now they're like, oh, you expect me to work now? I mean, people are, when they get handouts, why would they want to work? You know, if you're getting something for nothing, why would you want to start sweating to get the same or less than what you were getting when you just sat on your ass? People don't want to. That's just like feeding a bear. Every day, if you feed a bear out of your garbage can, leave the lids off, he's going to come back and he's going to keep coming back until one day there's no garbage, but there's people out there. What do you think is going to happen? It's just like you got a swimming area on the beach, right, in Florida, and you got all these moms and kids and dads all playing out there in the water. They're going out, swimming and coming back and playing in the surf. And then you got some dumbass with 2 pockets fills of bait that goes in the middle of all those people that are swimming and stuff and starts fishing, throwing his stuff out there and reeling it in, throwing his stuff out there and running, and he catches a couple little sharks. How long before you think the sharks are going to come up and say, hey, look at all that wiggly stuff in the water, and just start biting? Why do you think there's so many people getting attacked right now in Florida? Because over time, you train the sharks to think, hey, that wiggly stuff on the beach is food. Because dum-dums don't go to the pier and fish. They fish right next to where your kids are swimming. Okay, I've many times have gone and chewed people out for fishing. I said, there's people swimming and you're attracting sharks and other predators, barracuda and stuff right up to the beach. Shouldn't there be a law that you can't fish right here where people are swimming? You know, and they'd say, well, you're a bitch. And I go, I don't care. I'd rather you not get a fish and that kid not get attacked. And now you've seen a 9-year-old girl just the other day got her hand bitten off in water, and she wasn't even in 4 feet deep of water, because sharks think you're food now, because that's what we've done over time. And that's what we're doing now with the people. When you hand them free shit day after day after day, why would they ever want to work for anything? Did you do that with your kids? Did your kids have to have chores to earn an allowance and make good grades? Or did you just
went to work with me? My kids went to work with me. When they weren't in school, they were working with me.
Okay, so what do you think would happen?
Working in the restaurant.
What do you think would have happened with your kids if you just let them sit at home, play video games, and never expected anything from them, just made them go to school?
Well, they wouldn't be like they are now.
Okay.
They're all
That's all I'm trying to say.
Their own places.
The parents that stayed home and took care of their kids and made them do their homework and gave them chores and made them earn money by going down the street and raking for leaves or babysitting like I did and my sisters did. We babysat, we worked in people's yards. We did everything we could to earn enough money to buy our own senior ring, you know, stuff like that. Because my parents didn't have a lot of money, but we understood the value of ourselves and that people will pay us if we do a good job for them. And guess what? Next time they'll say, hey, she did a great job. Do you need her to come over and babysit for you? So you get referrals, stuff like that. You learn about business and stuff like that when you teach your kids to be able to take care of themselves. And then you got kids graduating from high school that can't cook. They can't fix a hole in their sock. And they don't know how to balance a checkbook. And they have no life skills. And then we're thinking that we're going to put them out on the street and let them get jobs and whatever. And they can't. They don't know how to do anything, because we've raised 1 or 2 generations of people that don't know how to do anything, take care of themselves. So they expect others to take care of them. That's why we're in the position we are for a lot of our kids, is because now they're in their 30s and they're still living with mom and dad, or they're expecting handouts because they can't make enough money. Oh, I'm not going to work in a chicken plant. Ew. I'm not going to serve people at a restaurant. You know, they don't want to do the jobs because they've been babied and given everything they want. I see it all the time. How many friends do you have that did that with their kids?
Well, the whole time you've been talking about this whole thing's been running through my mind. I have an older brother and a younger sister.
Yeah.
My dad did have money.
Mm-hmm.
And I married women who came from homes like me. And the parents gave money to the kids. Like, I would never take anything from my mom and dad, because I felt like if I took it, that gave them power over me. You know, I left home when I was 16 years old. I was done with their shit, right? And I started paying my own bills, and my house was the house all the people that were sorry would come over and eat. They'd come over to my house and eat all my food. It's like, whatever. I just go back to the store. And the more and more I went through life, and I realized, man, these people, who raised you? Who raised you? If you don't have something to eat, go get a job at Wendy's. There's more than enough food there to eat. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you'll make it. Or whatever. Find something you like and go get yourself busy. No. My mom and dad would call me on the phone crying and bitching about my sister and my brother, and I would hang up on them like, you did it, and hang up. I don't give a fuck, right? Mm-hmm. My kids, oh my God, they were doing me that way. Up to the point where they were in their 20s and teens. They lived in my rental houses, and not only would they not take care of them, they'd let all their friends sleep over, and they were tearing the houses up. I moved to Nashville and told them it was because my parents needed me up there, and cut them completely off. And within 5 years, they all had educations, and man, it was harder on me to cut them off than it was on them. So, you know, I'm well deep into the psychology of all that enabling. And my mom and dad gave one of my nieces the money that she went to buy the heroin she OD'd and died on. And I had been telling them for 15 or 20 years, you're going to find out, man, that all of that shit you're doing is doing nothing but paying them into a worse lifestyle than they would if they went and earned the money. And literally, they sent my niece $200 and she died of a heroin overdose that night. You know why she wanted the $200? To celebrate coming off probation for getting busted with heroin. What the hell, right? I mean, I lived through that. 30 days before she died, another one of my nieces died in jail from heroin, in jail. 30 days, those two things happened.
See, that's why I constantly say part of the problem that I see is lack of common sense. Okay, if you got parents that are married and they're religious, they go to church, they have a couple kids, and their youngest, okay, is sneaking out and doing things he's not supposed to, and not finishing his homework, and they're arguing with him all the time, and they don't know what to do. You know, one day he's in a good mood, so he'll do it, and then another day he's not. Or he gets up in his dad's face and says, you know, F you, I'm not going to do it. Things like that kind of attitude, right? But he has a cell phone, and he has a pickup truck that he has to drive every day. And they're griping about what we don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. And I said, well, for one, why are you letting him drive your truck? Well, it's his truck. We bought it for him. Well, why? He's not earning it. So why are you letting him still drive it? Drive him to school. Let's see how many of what his friends say when the first time they see you having to drop him off at school. Well, if I do that, then he won't go to school. And then I said, okay, then you tell him, you call the people and say, my son won't go to school and he won't listen to us and stuff, and see what they'll tell you to do. They'll probably say, fine. If he's not going to do it, then he's going to end up being a runaway and he's going to go to jail. Stuff like that. I said, so it depends on what you're willing to do to save your kid. And then I said, don't pay a cell phone bill. You know, don't give him a cell phone. Take his phone away from him. Take his vehicle away. Don't give him money so he can go out and spend it and buy alcohol and party with his friends, cigarettes, or whatever else he might be popping. And after a few months of being penniless, maybe he'll start realizing, wow, mom and dad really gave me a lot of things, you know, and then they realize that mom and dad are just trying to help you. And if you can't, and then when they sat down and they talked to their kid and they said, one day we won't be here. We're going to be dead. We're going to die of old age, or we'll die of a disease or whatever. And you got to be able to take care of yourself. You got to be able to pay your own insurance on your truck. You got to be able to have a job. You got to be able to put food on your table. You got to be able to have electricity, blah, blah, blah. And how are you going to do any of that if you don't go to school and know how to get a job? You know, and he finally was listening when he realized that all his avenues were cut off. And that's what I kind of using this as, look at USAID, right? You take all the money away from all these people that they've slowly over time draining the taxpayers like us, and putting in their own little fun accounts for trips or Visa cards or whatever it is, because nobody gives a shit. There's no accountability because it's not their money. And people in the government are so happy to open your wallet and take out handfuls of cash. But when you say, can I open your wallet for me? Hell no. You know, like Nancy, what was her name? Nancy Pelosi sitting there in front of her beautiful gourmet refrigerator, eating all the different ice creams in 3 freezers. You know, look at me. I have all of this, and I have a wall around my house to protect me from anyone coming and stealing my stuff. And you don't. You know, basically that's the attitude. It's like, and we just go, yay, look at her, put her in office again. Yay, we need her. It's like, where do these people come from? Just like you said, they just keep voting because people don't vote because they feel like my vote doesn't matter. And it doesn't, because if they don't go there and vote, then it doesn't matter. You've already voted. You voted by not going and voting. So that other person won. That's how easy it is. And until we get off our ass and we fight for what we believe in, and share information and try to share the truth with others, try to get morals back in families where dad and mom are a couple and they work hard and try to raise their children together as a team. I don't see how any of this is ever going to get better, because how are we supposed to have our kid grow up, your son or daughter grow up, if they only have one parent that's only half involved and they're pretty much doing things on their own or using other people like teachers or other people to get to finish? How are they supposed to ever go out and work and say, oh, I want to have a relationship? Well, what's a relationship? They never saw one. They never saw a solid relationship in their whole life. All they saw was mom sleeping with this guy, that guy, 500 other guys or whatever, and bringing them home. You know, what are we teaching our kids? You know, what lifestyle are we trying to show them? Oh, just swipe left, swipe right if you don't like them. You know, we're not giving our kids anything to go on and live their own life with any type of value, to feel like they're worth something, that they're valuable. You know what I mean? To other people, just simply because they're a good person and that they're trustworthy. See, we're not doing that as parents. We're failing our kids by just leave. It's just like taking your baby and just throwing it in the ocean and saying, okay, see you later. You know, you're not giving it anything to prepare it for its future. You know, we're just going, well, you know, it's too much work, or it's too much money, or it's too much time and effort that I'm not interested in spending. You know, that's what's sad to me. And then you have the parents that do everything for their kid, and their kid treats their parent like crap. You know, get both sides of this story, and they're not always good. So you got to try to stay in the middle. But that's why you're supposed to have a mom and a dad, because then there's 2 people working together to raise one kid or more. But as a team, it's less burden on one person to do all of it, to try to make sure that the kid's getting the things that it needs to be able to go out and be successful and take care of themselves. You know what I mean? I know I could talk your head off, can't I? We're terrible. So, but.
No, I mean, I agree. I was a workaholic. My dad was a workaholic. Mm-hmm. And I started going and hanging out at the hospital with my dad when I was probably 10 years old. And there was, it was a hospital complex, and I would ride my bicycle over with x-rays or, documents they needed from this one to that one and all this kind of stuff. Well, I ended up going into medicine. My kids, when they were 10, 11 years old, I'd have them bussing tables at the restaurant or going out with me and doing landscaping work, cutting fields, whatever. Hell, I took them out when they were 2 and 4 years old, my sons, and they would sit in my lap when I would cut fields, because I had started a landscaping company in high school, and it was years later, and I had so many contracts, and I had a big tractor that would cut 20 feet of grass at one time. And on the weekends, I would always go catch up what the crews didn't get done. And I would bring the boys with me and prop them up on the tractor, and we would ride. Or I would take them and get them to bring plants to me when I was making flower beds or whatever. Mm-hmm. But they took advantage of me and money when they got out of high school, and, they'd show up at the door. Eventually, I felt like the only reason they ever came to see me was when they needed something. It's like, man, get your ass down to the restaurant and start working, or do this and that. Well, one of my sons is in construction. The other one's in landscaping, and my daughter is in nursing. So I own I own the companies. I own the restaurant. I took them all to work with me and let them learn how to make money. Hell, my mom and dad never taught me how to save my money. My kids got more money than I do. I swear to God.
Well, you learned what you could from your parents, and then you shared that with your children, plus what you learned in your real life with your kids. So now they have two different sources of information for their children. See,
well, they had good moms, but I was a single father.
Yeah.
And they always had men around them. One of them was like you said, all she did was drink and bring men around. The cops used to call me and tell me that you need to come get your sons. We don't know where your wife is, blah, blah. Oh, I went to hell with all that. Oh, they were like an ATM card for her to go on cruises, right? But I had another one that worked pretty good and raised her daughter pretty good. But when they came around me, I was single, just worked all the time. Had to pay all that child support.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. That's why it's more important if you can work it out and you have a good partner that you can talk to and be honest with and trust, then you have a team to be able to raise your kids, and tag team or whatever you want to call it. The parts where you need help, like let's say he's real good with sports and the kids, and you're good at teaching them, history and science, and then he has to help with the math, teaching, for school. So you have more avenues when you have two people. That's why, to me, I think it's so important to try to have a 2-parent household. Even if it's two women or two men, whatever, it's still two parents. You got two people helping raise the child to learn all the skills that it needs to be able to go out and take care of themselves, but not to coddle them and not let them do anything. Because once you do that, you take away their right to learn things, because kids are sponges, man. They just absorb everything around them. They are so smart. I would go to these little Head Start schools and get to sit with some other people because they had their kid in Head Start and watch these kids interact, building things with bricks, and they're like 4, to see some of the things that they were able to do all by themselves using their own imagination. And it's amazing how smart kids are. And if we could just give them the tools they need, they're going to constantly absorb information and learn. But they have to have a happy environment, where they're eating and they're getting plenty of sleep, and, they're healthy, that type of thing. And lots of hugs, and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with a dad hugging and kissing his kid. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I have grown up to where a lot of men say, well, my dad never kissed and hugged me. I never had a dad that hugged me, that kind of stuff, because men didn't do that. And I just think that's sad that a lot of people grew up with that type of household. So what I'm saying is we need more people with friends and family that help out when they see that something just seems like it might be a little off. Well, I'll help you with that. You want me to sit down and we can discuss what we do? And how we do it this way, this is how it works out for us. So I'm just saying, if people would be willing to sit down with their friends and help them, because if it was them, let's say if it was me and I needed help, I'm not ashamed to ask for help. I don't have a problem with that. It doesn't hurt me or make me think I'm less of a person because I need some help. I just say, hey, I really don't know how to fix this. I mean, I have begged and helped for so much, just to be able to do what I'm doing right now, streaming, because I could sit for 5 hours and look at 2 or 3 programs, and I'm still at the end going, I have no idea how to do this. I've watched 16 videos. I still can't do it. So I'd have somebody help me, and I'd share my screen with them on my computer, and then they'll say, just do this and this. And I'm like, that's it? It's so easy. And you realize, wow, I got a head made of rocks, But once you get it in there and you start to do it, you can learn. So anyone, I don't care who you are, you can learn to do something you thought you'd never learn. You just have to be willing to take the time and make the effort to do it. And if we could all do that, I think we'd all be better off. But I got one more video that I want to share, because I keep going off on, you know how I am.
I love how you are. It's fun.
But this is a pretty good one. I thought it was pretty interesting. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I thought it was pretty good. It says, I'm shocked, and it takes a lot to shock me. There's several levels of this that are concerning, almost beyond belief. The first family was taking millions of dollars from China. Biden's CIA director, Bill Burns, took millions of dollars from China. Details that the entire foreign policy establishment of the Biden White House had millions of dollars being juiced from the Chinese government. So I want you to watch this. This is it's called Real America's Voice. So I'm going to play this for you. So can you see it? Let me make sure you can see that. Okay, good. Because sometimes I start playing it and nobody could see it. So,
I gotta walk over here.
I'm shocked, and it takes a lot to shock me.
Yeah,
when this story first broke, I thought that there must be some details about it that are more speculative than you can rely on. But the more I read the piece that you published and saw what Kash submitted to Chuck Grassley, there are several levels of this that are concerning almost beyond belief. So obviously the first family itself was taking millions of dollars from China. The Biden first family through Hunter Biden and China CEFC Energy, China CEFC Energy was taking $5 to $10 million in consulting fees from Chinese energy firms as Hunter Biden was flying on Air Force One to China with Vice President Biden in order to secure those deals. Biden's CIA director, Bill Burns, took millions of dollars from China when he was the head of the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace for 7 years before becoming CIA director, taking CCP members and putting them on Carnegie's board, as well as forming a joint Carnegie-China center so that they could cooperate more closely. Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, was the managing director of the Penn Biden Center, which took millions of dollars from China. So all the way up and down the entire foreign policy establishment of the Biden administration, from the White House to the CIA to the State Department, you had millions of dollars being juiced by the Chinese government the entire time. And then the more you think about this story, the more shocking it gets when you think about the massive, biggest election censorship event in human history, which was DHS CISA's censorship of the 2020 election, specifically to stop election misinformation, which was all run out of a group that Chris Krebs formed called the Countering Foreign Influence Task Force, which you would think would have been the exact task force at DHS set up to stop something like this and set up to be responsive to something like this, when in fact it did the exact opposite. They told us there was no foreign interference. Now, how does the FBI know this, and the CIA know this, and the DHS task force, who is responsible for stopping the domestic side of this operation, not be informed? How is it possible that this intelligence was circulated at the FBI and CIA levels, but not at the DHS level? And so that is an immediate question for Chris Krebs and Alex Stamos.
Well, we can actually answer the question for you, Mike, too. The document I actually saw the document and got some of the quotes from it. It was circulated to the Department of Homeland Security in addition to the CIA. So they were, now it doesn't say CISA, it does say DHS, so at least the senior component got it. And when it was called back, they asked all those agencies to destroy it. So it was sent out to Homeland.
Now get this. The DHS censorship operation run out of CISA, together with EIP, this 4-group consortium of 120 individual censors monitoring the entire internet across 15 different platforms to censor pro-Trump tweets or anyone who cast doubt on the integrity of the 2020 election. In the slide deck presentations of those censors who were set up by DHS, who got to use CISA's 24/7 cyber mission control to flag tweets, in those presentations, they specifically finger out a specific tweet by Donald Trump on June 22nd, and I'll read it. rigged 2020 election. This is all caps. Rigged 2020 election. Millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries and others. It will be the scandal of our times. Now, DHS's censorship network specifically cited that tweet as one of the reasons they needed to scramble to form this wide-spanning, totalizing censorship operation. And the fact that they specifically were set off by tweets by Donald Trump insinuating that foreign countries may be printing ballots or taking advantage of the mail-in ballot system in the operation that Kash just laid out, while that was the triggering tweet among several others to set up this entire censorship operation, while DHS had inside classified knowledge that is exactly what was going down and that Donald Trump was in fact correct. So they set up the censorship operation. In part, it would seem to suggest that their knowledge of this at the senior level of DHS or at the Chris Krebs level may have been motivated in part by a desire to keep quiet these various scandals, because as China was backing the entire Biden foreign policy establishment, literally and monetarily, the idea that China would be exploiting this would be a massive, massive, massive scandal, especially on the heels of Russiagate, where that entire apparatus used all of that power and abuse of the FBI and Justice Department in order to go after foreign powers interfering in elections. That could have been a scandal that could have tipped the election. So the idea that not only would they censor it at the FBI and CIA level, but that DHS itself could be activated to censor anyone who might suggest that a foreign body like China may be exploiting the mail-in ballot system.
Okay, I want to say something real quick. Remember, the FBI had the laptop, Hunter Biden's laptop, for almost 4 years. Okay, and when stuff was leaked out, they kept saying, "Oh, that's fake Russia information." See. And a lot of us, like me, was one of the people that were verbal about it, that's bullshit. That's real. This stuff of him smoking a crack pipe and all these other things that he was doing, sniffing coke off little girls' butts and or hookers and whatever else, all that stuff. We knew it was real. Okay, we were like bullshit, but they dragged it out and said it was fake Russian information, and then finally, at the very end, before Biden supposedly used an auto pen to give his son a blanket to get away with whatever he wanted, right? He went to trial, and then those young men that took all the different indictments and everything that was on the laptop and put it in that big folder, which I really wanted so bad. I haven't been able to get that yet, but to prove all of that was real, because it was used in court and it was hidden by the FBI. The FBI was so corrupt. And then you have Dan Bongino in there, and you have Kash Patel in there swimming in a sea of sharks and orcas, basically. Okay. And then, like I said earlier, that's why another reason why I want to see someone arrested. They've already arrested or gotten rid of all the top 10 people on the FBI, the most wanted. Okay. And they have started a brand new one. Okay. So they are doing stuff. Okay. So there are still good people in the FBI, wherever, whoever they are. But until we can root out the corrupt ones and prosecute them, there you go. There's a start. Take some of the people that they know hid information about the China interference in 2020 or any of this stuff, the PP dossier people, any of them that we have so much evidence against, okay, and arrest somebody. Okay, so there is people to arrest. There is evidence to prosecute. And the fact that these people are talking about this, simply only reason they're talking about it is because Kash Patel declassified all this stuff that the FBI was hiding. That's the only reason. So if it's classified information, but it's corrupt and it proves corruption. That's what Trump said. Trump said he's trying to declassify stuff, and so did Pam Bondi. So I'm trying to be patient, but we don't even have we have just a little bit over a year before elections in 2026. In what is it going to be, like May or something? Isn't it early in the year?
Yeah, I think preliminary votes start then. Yeah. So
we don't have much time. If you really think about it, we do not have much time to prove at least one of these scenarios: the PP dossier, the cheating for the election. I mean, there's so many things. Look at Rudy Giuliani. He lost his home. He lost his reputation, his job, his career, everything over the 2020 election, trying to prove that they cheated. And there's so much corruption. Look what they took from him. You have a woman sitting there cheating, and it's on video. I have worked in 2 different states, worked the polls. Okay. And to see a woman take boxes out from under a table, take stuff out and start feeding it into a counting machine, that is illegal. And I'm not even a genius or anything. I'm just a normal person that's worked the polls. I'm telling you, every single person who's ever put their hand on a Bible and swore an oath to work the polls and make sure that we followed the law, did all that stuff, honestly, was watching those videos saying, oh, nothing's going to happen to this woman. And we're appalled by it, because there are real people out there that actually care about integrity and other people's votes mattering. Okay. And for them to not ever give up, like me, I get to where I'm this close to just saying, fuck it. I don't want to do this anymore, because there's no one left to trust. Trump's it. If this administration can't do anything to arrest some of these people or make a dent and start showing the people that you can have a state or a town and local government that's not corrupt. You can have a town that have good cops, that have good paramedics, that have good doctors, good lawyers, good judges, and representatives for their city, that they really do exist. I mean, but until we see something happening with all the mountains of evidence they have, I'm seeing more and more people that are just saying they're all corrupt. Because if there was anybody that wasn't corrupt, then they would arrest someone. So until we see somebody big fall, maybe they're dripping it out like this, in little drops here, drops there, to kind of line it up for their first person they're about to arrest. I don't know. That's what I'm praying, because if they know everything too, the bad guys already know what their plan is, then they'll just pack up the stuff and leave. You know what I mean? Just like if we told another country that we're going to bomb them, we're going to take this, that, and the other from their country, then they would just take that stuff and go to another country with it. You see what I mean? If they already knew in advance what was going to happen. So I'm trying to be patient. I really am. I'm trying not to get my panties in a wad or whatever you want to call it. But it's hard. It's really hard when every day I get on X or another platform and I hear people talking about it and saying that Trump is no better than anyone else. He's got his head up Netanyahu's ass, and he's doing whatever he's told. He's his lapdog, and and that he set himself up to be shot at because he wanted to win. Just all this crap. It's all crap that I don't believe, because the Trump that I've watched evolve since I was wanting to vote for Ben Carson at the beginning, has made me a believer in him. Even though, because he's just a human, he's a grandpa, he's a dad, and a husband, and I trust him. And everything he's done everything he said he was going to try to do for us. And even by putting all these new younger people in office, and so far the people that I've seen him put in there, to me, look like they're really doing their jobs. They're doing the best they can with what they have, except I want to see somebody pay for what they've done in the past, even if it's from 2020, if it's from the 2020 election, and they can prove that this person cheated and took money to screw over the American people? Isn't that treason?
I think that the riots and all of that stuff are, it's okay to protest. It's not okay to interfere with official federal business. That is a crime. Okay, they're arresting 200 people a night, this, that, and the other. Man, that's a complicated nightmare. These riots are going on in England. They're going on in France. They're going on all over the world. It's the same thing. They convince peaceful people to come protest, and then these anarchists mix in with them and start committing the crimes.
Yeah.
That's a complicated nightmare. But there is so much criminal activity is no longer, it's just no longer criminal, I guess. I mean, the whole justice system is upside down. I mean, you got people that will get on TV and back up murderers that would not even say the name of a young woman who was raped brutally on the UGA campus up in Athens, a few miles from me. Okay, when you get that far, the problem is way bigger than any one single solution. It's just way bigger than a single solution. We know the people doing this. We know the people doing it. And somehow we've let them tell us that it's free speech. It's not free speech throwing bricks at police officers. They're talking about rubber bullets. I like what the head of the Florida police said. If you throw a brick at us, we're going to blow your fucking head off. And he didn't beat around the bush about it.
I know.
We dare you to throw some shit.
That's
we dare you to
transparency.
throw some shit at us. We'll kill you and call the paddy wagon.
Yeah, they said, we'll notify your family, come get your body.
Damn
but you
right.
know what? A lot of us feel that way. We feel like we have been, duped, robbed, beaten down. Our rights have been taken away from us. And what's wrong with us defending ourselves? We're defending ourselves so we can go to work and pay our bills and be responsible. Yeah, I have something I want to bring up. I'm going to pause it.
I like John Solomon. He's a hard-nosed investigator.
But I want to share something with you real quick. Let me get it, because I played this before, but what she's saying is fact. She has the right to say it, and I agree with her 100%. Okay, I don't know. Do you remember? Did you see the show last week?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, here is this woman, and it says, to all you rioters gearing up to wreak havoc on June 14th. Okay, this was from last week, but truck drivers will floor it and plow through your chaos without a second thought. But listen to this lady. I think she's really smart, and she's honest.
So I hear talk that there's a lot of people planning on doing protests out in the streets across the country soon. I just want to tell you a little fun fact about truck drivers. You see this thing behind me? 80,000 pounds. It takes nearly 2 football fields to come to a complete stop when we're driving at interstate speed. For us truck drivers out here, we're just trying to make a living. We're just trying to pay our bills, support our families, and go home. And I can tell you this, if you guys start standing out in the middle of the interstate, us truck drivers, we're not going to stop. You see, a truck driver by the name of Reginald Denny stopped once for a protest. Rather, it was more of a riot. And he got pulled out of his truck, and he got beaten to death. A man that had a family to go home to who was just trying to do his job. So if you decide to stand in front of one of these on the interstate for your little protest or whatever you want to call it, I call it domestic terrorism, I guarantee you that truck driver that fears for their life is going to do whatever they have to do to get themselves out of that situation where they feel they're in danger. And in that situation, the best thing for us to do is push that throttle to the floor.
So, I agree with her. Okay. When you're growing up and your mom says, don't go in the street, don't play in the street, and you're like, why not? Well, you get run over by a car. Then you see people beating on the hood of your vehicle that you're paying $50,000 for, that you sweated each day to make money, to be able to buy this vehicle, to get yourself to work, to pay your bills. You're paying for it. And now you got all these people beating on it with their fists, kicking it, hitting it with stuff, throwing stuff. And you're just supposed to sit there and let them beat your car up. And they're stopping.
Well, you notice they don't ever do any of those riots where, it's legal to carry a gun. Half of them is not even legal to own one.
Yeah, but what's funny is that they're barely even run over, okay? And they think we're the bad people, okay? Because we show restraint.
Yeah, none of it makes sense, Janet.
I know it's really sad. But
I'm
proud of this woman who drives a truck for a living to pay her bills. She's a hardworking taxpayer, and
she's got the right attitude.
She does. And the thing is that hopefully, if nothing ever happens, but she has to end up going to court and protect what she has, what little she has that she worked her ass off to earn. And some idiot steps out in front of her and kicks her car or is jumping on the hood and bashing in the window or whatever. And then she runs him over because she feels hurt. She feels threatened. Who wouldn't feel threatened when your car is being beat up and you got your family in your car? What do they think? What response to these people? That's what I'm talking about, common sense. If I go out into a parking lot and I see a guy standing by his car smoking a cigarette and I walk up and say, hey, motherfucker, fuck you. Do I think I'm going to get him saying, wow, what a wonderful lady. Thank you. I mean, what response do they think they're going to get? Or I'm going to expect to get the shit slapped out of me. At least that's what my parents would have done to me. Okay. So I'm not going to do something that's stupid, but I've got common sense. See, that's what I'm talking about. People that will just go out and do this kind of shit because someone else said, hey, we need to go do that. Or someone paid me $50 to go do it. I mean, to me, it's ridiculous and stupid. I don't know how long people are going to put up with this crap. But you saw the rest of the protests once people started saying, if you get in front of us, we're gonna shoot you. If you do this, we're gonna shoot you with rubber bullets, or we're gonna run you over if you try to stop people because they have the right to defend themselves. And then the whole thing, remember when, wasn't it Florida that passed that law, the Stand Your Ground law or something like that? And that's when Trayvon Martin got shot. Is that the same state or am I messed up?
I think Trayvon Martin was Florida.
And I remember Barack Obama standing there and say, he could have been my son. He looked like he could have been my son or whatever. But trying to defend somebody trying to protect themselves from someone in the street, their own property type of thing. That's what I'm talking about. That's inciting people to commit crimes. And then we wonder why these people are willing to put on uniforms, dress up
Did you see Obama's speech from last night?
No, haven't seen it.
He's up to the same old shit.
We'll share it in the shit show chat so we can watch it tomorrow night.
All right.
On the shit show. Aren't you in the shit show chat?
Yeah.
Okay, well, start sharing stuff in there. If you see something that you think is shit show worthy, put it in.
I've been sticking a few things in there.
Okay, well, share more stuff. I feel like I'm always putting stuff in there, and I'm like waiting for other people.
Yeah, no.
Now Bruce is getting better because I said, Bruce, start putting some stuff in there if you want to talk about it, and you share it in there. I'll let you talk about anything that you bring up because it takes all of us, to find answers. And one person might watch the show and see something and say, I have a way to fix that. I have a way to stop that. Or I have an idea that we can use to do that. And
solutions are a lot better than just I like solutions.
Yeah, it should be that way. But that was the three things that I wanted to bring up tonight, talk about, because I figured there were a little leaning away from some of the things that we like to talk about on the Friday Night Shit Show, because when it's you remember the conspiracy theory stuff, I try not to bring it on there too much because it takes up too much time, especially when you have 3 or 4 people all talking about it, especially with me trying to get a word in edgewise around me. Just kidding. But the thing is that I can help it. I'm very passionate about people, and being able to pay your bills and being able to have the right to defend what you've earned. It's your house, it's your family, it's your car, it's your home, it's the things in it belong to you, yet you're not supposed to be able to protect any of it. See,
where I live, the rule on deadly force is if you feel like your life or safety of you or anyone with you is being threatened, you can use deadly force. That's the law where I live.
Well, I think it's the law here in my state.
It's like, really? You just pull that gun out and you shoot him. So, man, I ain't afraid of you.
Well, the thing is, I agree. If you want to be able to defend your family and yourself, then find out about your laws in your state about a gun or a taser or whatever you feel that you might need to have on your person, protect yourselves, and then get the training you need to use it. That's it. That's how simple it is. Once you do that and you feel comfortable with it, then make sure you practice using it. Try to do it once every month so that it feels comfortable when you're holding it in your hand to be able to defend yourself or from a predator. Because like I shot my pistol not very long ago.
I laughed when you told me about shooting the raccoons. It was
but
there was a flash. I'm like, that must be the first time she shot.
Well, no, I've shot my gun outdoors. I've never shot it inside of a residence or anything, and people don't realize it. And that's why another person told me, when you have your pistol in your drawer, have some earplugs wrapped around the muzzle, so that when you're in that moment, that you got a predator in your yard or whatever's going on, as soon as you pull your pistol, you see the earphones, earplugs, and you go, oh yeah, put those in your ears, because if you shoot it, it's going to hurt because it's loud. And mine was just a 9mm. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but man, I tell you, I learned my lesson. I won't do that again though. See, I did learn something. And if I hadn't told other people about it, then I would probably still be just as dumb, and next time and do the same thing again.
Firefights are a big deal. I mean, you're shooting, you're getting all that sensory overload like the person you're shooting at, and you literally have to wait a minute to see if you hit them.
Yeah, it takes a minute, especially because you're stunned. It's like a few seconds of you're like deer in headlights type of thing. It was very eye-opening, because
that's why they tell police, whenever you open fire as a policeman, you empty that thing.
Well,
because once you fire the first shot, you're going to be blind and all this, and you got to go at it. You don't want to like wing them, especially if they got a gun.
He hasn't come back. He won't come back, so I'm not worried about that. Right?
Yeah, he probably went off and made dinner for some wolf or coyote or some
bear.
Yeah, you got a lot of bobcats where you are, and
I got black bear here.
Cougars, yeah.
And so we got lots and lots of predators here, and I've already killed 4 snakes this year. Big ones. I mean, taller, longer than me. I mean, big ones. But once they eat your eggs. What's funny is the last one that I killed. Okay, I put golf balls in my chickens' nests, okay? Because if you don't and there's no eggs, they'll go somewhere else and sit where there's an egg or something they think feels like an egg. It keeps them coming back to the nest, okay? Because they say, oh, a chicken laid an egg there. That's a nice place to lay an egg, so I'll lay one. See, that's what they'll do. So I just collect golf balls and I put them in there like that, because you can tell the difference when you go to collect them. But what was funny is you go and there'll be a snake out there and it has three 3 circles in there, because he's eating your golf balls. And then when you kill it and you chop its head off, and I'll take it out in this other part of the woods and I'll put it in the woods. And every time I go back, like let's say I'm mowing, and like 4 or 5 days later, I'll see 3 golf balls laying out there. Because a creature will come and eat the snake, and the golf balls just, they just leave them there. They're not going to.
Yeah, hawks and eagles.
Yeah,
usually come
or it could be they're not called ferrets in the wild here. They're called something. Weasels.
Yeah.
Raccoons. Possums, there's lots of things that eat, that kind of stuff. But what was funny is you go back and there'll be their golf balls, and they'll just pick them back up and wash them and put them back in the in the coop. Let the chickens sit on them. Because I got 2 of them that have got a split in them. That's how strong snakes are. People don't realize you get a big snake, they eat the egg, and once it gets so far down, they squeeze the egg. Okay. And then they throw up the shells.
Yeah.
And they just keep the egg in there. Right. And they do the same thing. They'll get in their mother. You have a mother hen in there with their like 5 babies, and he'll just go in there, eat the 5 babies right out from under mom, and then slither away. And she has nothing, there'll be nothing left. There'll just be little bumps in there until they're digested. So when I see a snake that gets in there, and even though I use snake away and I do all the other stuff that I can think of, for snakes, if you get one in there and it's eating your eggs, it's going to keep coming back. So the only thing you can do is either trap it and take it 25 miles away and put it somewhere else and let it be someone else's problem, or you just chop off his head. So that's what I do. I just chop his head off and say, "Oh well, sorry, buddy. You shouldn't have been eating." But I'm allowed to do that. So and every so often there might be a water moccasin in there, or a copperhead, or even a rattlesnake. So you have to be careful. But most of the time it's either rat snakes or other type of snakes like that. But there you go. Everybody got a learning lesson on chickens. But if you're gonna have chickens, you're gonna have snakes, because if you have food, you're gonna have mice and you're gonna have rats. And if you have rats,
corn snakes and rat snakes.
So yeah.
King snakes, all of them eat eggs.
Yeah, they're all in there. Yeah, and so do raccoons. They'll go in and they'll grab the chicken that's sitting on the roost and just eat its head off. And then it'll fall to the ground, and then they go to the next chicken and eat its head off. And that's all they'll do is just eat the heads. It's disgusting. And that's what it was doing to one of my brand new hens that just started laying, and I had to shoot it. And I did. So that's my job. But I just want to say thank you to everybody. It's been 2 hours, and I want to thank you again, Chris, for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it, and I hope everybody has a wonderful night. And tomorrow night will probably be the last night I play this intro, because after tonight I will be tomorrow night I'm going to see him in concert. So I won't be playing his outro anymore. So I'll go back to my other outro that I used to play before. But I'm excited, and I'm going to have a great time. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for having me. Good night, everybody.
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make America great again.